Hello everyone. So if you're watching this in Asia, Africa, Europe, Russia, or most of the world, it's already 2017. If you're watching this in South America or North America, then it's still 2016. So I just want to divide this video into a few different sort of perspectives. Firstly, some of my general thoughts about 2017 and my hopes for it, both the world and on a more personal basis myself. Also, a brief sort of look or reflection on the approach that I'm going to take to my channel over the next year. Um, so, without further ado, we're in now 2017. We are now in the late 2010s, just 3 years to go until the next decade. Um, but nevertheless, a lot of things can happen in 3 years. Um, Not quite the Chinese New Year yet, and might make a video at that time. So we're still actually in the year of the monkey, or the year of the ape, whatever way you want to look at it. Um, I was watching a bit of the BBC. London always has a fantastic firework display. I've had it pretty quiet here myself because I'm on my own. That's fine. But sadly, there is a downer to this, and that is that only minutes into the new year, I'm not sure exactly when this occurred, but there's been yet another terrorist attack in Istanbul. The latest reports of 35 killed and many others wounded in a nightclub, so it's being compared to Orlando. No groups claim responsibility, but terror experts are saying it bears the hallmarks of Islamic State. Um, what words are there for something like this? What words can sum up the sort of sadistic thinking? Because it's one thing attacking a military outpost or a police outpost, not that I'm condoning that, but there's something particularly vicious about targeting a place where people are simply having a good time, welcoming in the new year. There is something alien about that, alien in the sense that most rational people can't understand what sort of virus gets into someone's mind that they would do this to fellow human beings. It just, I could say, I could use lots of adjectives to describe what I think of Daesh and ISIS. And even if this attack wasn't perpetrated by them, the point still stands. But to be honest, that doesn't mean anything. It is what it is. I believe they are one of the biggest threats facing the world today. And I said I want to talk about my hopes for 2017. Well, that's one of them. I really hope that this death cult is just defeated, and that would be a major thing. All the finger pointing, like who funded who and all the rest of it, isn't going to help anyone. But clearly, this vicious death cult are enemies of humanity. They're enemies of every country, people of every religion. And yes, they are Islamist terrorists, but Muslims are just as much a target as anyone else. And in fact, arguably more so. Um, so there's just no words to sum up that. There is one point though. When we focus on the New Year's, it's sort of a global event. Much more so than anything else, more so than an election or an Olympic Games, because it takes place all over the world. So I guess it's inevitable that all the major cities in the world, something is always going to happen somewhere. So in Shanghai, 2 years ago, there was that big stampede. Um, there's always something happening in a big city around New Year's. Um, it's particularly depressing when you know it's man-made, like this is. Istanbul is a big city, and no matter how much security is put in place, you can't. I think it would be impossible to lock down a city of 14 million people. And the Turkish people have been through a lot over the last few years, so it's awful. Istanbul, especially, has been hard hit by terrorism in recent years. Anyway, without focusing too much on this tragedy, in other areas, I want just a general improvement in the world. I want to see a decline or a slowdown, I should say, in the decline of endangered species. We've been hearing quite a lot recently about, for example, the cheetah, the rhino is now really facing rapid possibility of extinction, and I really hope that's reversed. I did read one piece of optimistic news yesterday, and that was that the Chinese government has a target for the end of this year to completely ban the ivory trade. Now, that's a good thing, and I give them credit for that. It's not every day I praise the Communist Party, but that is a good thing because China is a major market for this. And if they can at least have some sort of, they're not going to wipe it all out, but if they could at least slow it down, that's a good thing. Um, and it's essential because we as human beings have the power to do this, and we have to, because future generations, this might sound like a cliche, but they wouldn't forgive us if this happened on our watch and we done nothing. I want to see I want to see the beginning of peace processes developing in conflict zones. I'm not going to say I want world peace because that would be naive. It isn't going to happen. But I would like to see at least the beginning of a process, especially in Syria, which is such a troubled land. Also, Iraq, Nigeria, South Sudan, the Central African Republic, parts of Mexico. Conflict is a plague across the world, and I would like to see at least the beginning of some sort of peace process in those countries. I want to see the Colombian peace process hold, and that is one area of optimism that we can look at from 2016. It genuinely was an improvement in the situation there. It would be naive to say it's all been solved, but I think the rest of the world can look to Colombia and hopefully, because Colombia was one of the most enduring and difficult conflicts of wars, 50 years of war, internal conflict, and it's finally, in all likelihood, come to an end. So hopefully, other warring parties can take some inspiration from this, or at least consider it. Um, I want to see a greater improvement in press freedom, but also I want to see a greater improvement in big networks taking some responsibility and, well, less bias. And I know that's wishful thinking because it's always going to be there. I don't expect CNN or Russia Today or any of the other big networks to change overnight, but, well, there's always hope. An improvement in East West relations between Russia and America would be great. And there is a possibility of that under a Trump administration. I'm speaking as someone who's a critic of both Trump and Putin, but I'm also a citizen of the world, and clearly it's in everyone's interest if Russia and America have good relations. So I do hope for that. For my own country, I really, really want more stability, more of a sense of certainty post Brexit, because we have a lot of uncertainty in this country right now. And I've just heard the Queen's health isn't great, so if she passes, that is going to create more uncertainty. Um, so there is a lot of question marks in the UK right now. So I just want, frankly, I want us to return to a more boring time, to be honest, i.e., pre 2014, when there was no Scottish referendum, no Brexit, none of this. Just, I want more certainty and stability in the UK. Um, on a personal level, I want to travel more this year. I didn't get to travel very much in 2016, so I want to travel more. I want to find a girlfriend. I hate being single. I want a girlfriend. Um, and for all my friends and all my subscribers, I genuinely, genuinely wish you a happy and progressive 2017. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether you agree with everything I say or not, I mean that. I am grateful for all the subscriptions. I know it takes some patience with my channel because the sound quality isn't always great. And that's the final point I'm going to make just about my channel. Um, I'm more or less going to continue what I'm doing, covering similar subjects. I tend to avoid making resolutions, but if there is one resolution, I'm going to try and not let so many things get under my skin. And I'm going to try and have a slightly more positive tint. It's not that I regret any of the videos I've made. I state my mind and I think those things need to be said. But perhaps it's a slight more of an angle towards negativity. So I'm going to try and be a little bit more positive if I can. I'm going to try and aim for that. And just not focus always on contentious issues. What else? If there are sound qualities, I apologise in advance for that. There isn't a great deal I could do about it. At the present time, the quality seems to be okay, so hopefully that will continue. Um, to anyone who's new to this channel, I talk about a wide range of subjects. I talk about social issues, I talk about geopolitical issues, domestic issues. I live in the UK, so I talk a lot about domestic issues. Um, I tend not to do requests simply because I need to be in the mood to talk about something. So someone says, "Nathan, can you talk about this?" I would consider it, but I can't. I just don't do requests like that because I have to really be in the mood to talk about something. Also, and this is quite an important point, the comment section. 95% of my videos, I keep the comment section open. The reason I don't in some videos is simply because I cannot be bothered with the back and forth on particularly contentious issues such as Scottish independence or certain other issues. But the vast majority of videos, I do leave the comment section open. Um, my rationale for that is simply that if I leave the comment section open in certain contentious videos, I know for a fact that I will get trolls who just want to throw mud and insult me. And it's not that I particularly care, it's just that I would then feel an obligation to reply to that and get into a continuous back and forth. And I don't think that helps anyone. But feel free to disagree with me respectfully. That is absolutely fine. I don't mind that. Also, if I don't reply to your comment, please don't take it personally. It's simply time. I simply I get a lot of comments and I simply can't reply to each and every comment. I do try to get around some of them, but if I don't reply, please don't take it personally. I do appreciate the feedback and I do appreciate everyone watching my videos. And I'm going to round it up there. That's it really. So let's just hope 2017 is a good year. 2016 is kind of being rubbished as a terrible year. I'm not quite sure that's true. I think that's because a lot of beloved celebrities died, and that kind of had an impact on people's psyche. Um, but the year itself was mixed. You know, I mean, in the Olympics, it was a fantastic year for Britain. Like I say, Colombia, I would call that a good development. You can never dismiss a year as entirely good or entirely bad. I do believe that. The world constantly moves around, constantly. So let me know your thoughts. And one final point, and this has just occurred to me: polio, terrible disease. I think we are on the verge of seeing this wiped out. It's now restricted to just a few countries. I believe it's Nigeria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and if that's wiped out, that would be a major, major medical breakthrough. So fingers crossed with that one. Let me know your plans for 2017, your thoughts for the world, um, whatever. Um, Thank you for watching, and feel free to share these videos. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to quote me. Feel free to make a response video. Keep it respectful, etc. Thanks for watching.